Hey there, my name's Dan Jackson, and I'm the queer strength coach. I help gay and queer men get stronger and feel more confident in and out of the gym using a program called the Queer Strength Foundation Formula. And in a moment, I'm going to introduce you to Davis and share with you his experience over the past 3 months being in the program and all that he's achieved and how he's gained access to an entirely new avenue of fitness that he can play around with for the rest of his life. And if you're interested to learn more and see how we can do the same for you, then I'll come back on at the end of the video and tell you how you can join the same queer strength crew that Davis has been a part of. Davis Covin, wanted to welcome you to the show. I kind of come up with a name for this. It's fun when we're doing this in person because I call it our Tic Tac testimonial, a la RuPaul's Drag Race. But for today, we're meeting in the Zoom room, and we had Davis come by to share his journey with the Queer Strength Coach, the progress that he's seen, all that he's achieved, and the stuff that he's learned along the way. And just want to open this conversation to him, have him introduce himself, give us a little brief background of who you are, what you do, and how you got involved in the program. So I'll turn it to you.
Hi, everybody. Like Dan said, my name is Davis Covin, and I have lived in Austin now for 14 years. And when I moved to Austin, I started doing martial arts, lots of different styles, lots of different studios, things like that. But it's been something that I've really kind of kept with over all these years. But this year, I will be turning 40 next month. So I decided to reach out to Dan and ask for his help. I wanted to up my game a little bit, do something a little bit different, add some strength training into my martial arts training, as well as try to look good for my 40th year, right? So we had a really great experience over these last 3 months. Dan has given me excellent advice, great workout plans, tips for nutrition and daily habits. And I've seen a really big difference, not only in the amount of weight that I'm able to lift each time, my fatigue is going down in my martial arts classes. And my husband has also noticed a few physical changes. So I'd like to thank you, Dan, for all of your help and guidance over these last 3 months.
I appreciate that. And you've achieved so much in such a short amount of time too. So credit does really go to you for getting in, doing the work. So again, congratulations. I'm curious, we kind of touched on it from the accountability standpoint, or just maybe not enjoying strength training, but what were some of your biggest challenges prior to working with the Queer Strength Coach?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. And I think it happens for a lot of people. I had a few. So the first one is walking into a gym where everybody looks great and you don't, or you don't think you do,
Yeah, I
is
totally get that.
intimidating and defeating, right?
Yeah,
And you think that people are looking at you, they're not, but you think that. Also, I found strength training to be a little bit, I'll say dull, because typically you're in there kind of by yourself. I was so used to these martial arts classes where it's with your friends and you're changing partners for every set, really kind of a social aspect. So then when you would go to the weight room, I always felt like, well, this is kind of boring and my friends aren't here. So I think my challenges were feeling just a little bit, I don't know, nervous, anxious about it. And
yeah.
then, yeah, being a little bit lonely in there, being a little bit maybe monotonous. But the more you do something, the more you work at it, the more fun it becomes and the less intimidating it is. So I really found that after the end of 3 months, it's not the same feeling. I'm fine.
Awesome.
I know
Yeah.
where all of my machines are. I know where all of my cables, how they work, what adjustments to make. It's no problem now. But at the beginning, it was not what I was interested in.
Again, pushing yourself to learn a new skill has obviously paid off because now you're able to run with that versus just being told what to do. Now having those tools to access in your toolbox. What other approaches have you tried to achieve some of these goals of getting stronger, getting more fit going into your 40th year?
So in the past, especially during COVID, I thought I have all this time. I should do something at home.
Yeah,
That didn't work.
a lot of people will relate to that.
I tried to do videos, YouTube kind of things, like you mentioned, I took some classes just to kind of get the pattern, but it never really stuck. And I even have some weights here at my house that are collecting dust and are currently being used as a coat hanger at the moment. It's hard to get started when you kind of don't know what you're doing. So
Totally.
my methods on my own were uninformed and ultimately didn't lead anywhere.
The way I see it, and I'm from a coaching perspective, even I kind of look at the field of play right now, and it's like so much information out there. Was that part of the shortcoming of those attempts that you've made at making progress before?
In some ways, I would say yes. If you're on TikTok or Instagram, you see a lot of advice, and some of it makes sense, and then some of it kind of doesn't. And some of it's from bros who it's pseudoscience, or maybe that works for you, but you're 20 years younger than me.
Yeah.
So good for you, kind of thing. And then also, some of the information I had maybe was a little bit outdated. What we learned in the 90s and 2000s is kind of out the window. So, yeah, there was some of that conflicting information going on. I know a big one out there is always protein and supplements. You can just scroll and you're like, well, you said the exact opposite from what the last person said. So that one's a tough one. Now I definitely feel like I have a practical approach and a practical standpoint from what I need to be doing, because I'm not trying to be a bodybuilder, professional athlete, or something like that. Just want to get stronger and look a little bit better. How about that?
And you said something earlier about getting information online. And what's ironic is that's how we got connected. We linked on Instagram. I think you had followed the account and reached out inquiring about coaching. Did you have any reservations prior to working with the queer strength coach?
I didn't have any reservations, luckily, because in our first one-on-one meeting, you were really forthcoming, very transparent with what the program is and what success looks like. So that was really helpful for me because I could see immediately, oh, Dan is bringing a true, again, I would say practical approach to this. What is achievable versus what's a little bit fake on Instagram? So thanks to your intro meeting, we were really able to connect and make sure that we aligned on what we were looking for.
Perfect. That's great to hear. And then when you're thinking about what you did achieve, I know you talked about this a little bit earlier, numbers going up in the gym, seeing some physical changes, or at least your husband seeing some physical changes. What else changed after working with the queer strength coach?
I would say a few things. So the first is feeling confident to go into the gym and you know what you're doing, which is
Awesome.
always fun. There are new muscle groups or styles of weightlifting that I hadn't done. So kind of coming at a muscle in a different way, at a different angle, giving it new stressors. That was really interesting because I think my body has so much muscle memory from martial arts that these same motions don't wear me out at all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
gym doing your things, I thought, this is really hard. Why is this hard? It shouldn't be, which was, again, what I was here for. This is why I began working with you, was to try something new and yeah, take a new approach and angle.
Awesome.
I also learned that consistency is the most important thing in the world. And even if you're not really feeling it, you still got to go. And it's okay if some days you're not blasting your quads, you're doing okay,
Uh,
giving it your best, but you're not completely exhausted. That's okay. And it doesn't mean that you're not making progress. And it doesn't mean that it's not good for you.
oh yeah. It almost sounds like there's less pressure to perform.
I would say so. That's a good way to describe it. Less pressure to perform and just making it a little bit more fun in a way that you're not stressed out about, oh, I didn't do a max weight today, or my legs aren't shaking and making it difficult for me to walk. I must not have worked out hard enough.
Totally. That's amazing to hear. That's hopefully, if there's anything anyone can take away from the conversation this morning, it's that last golden nugget. So amazing to see that change from where you started. If anyone who is listening to this conversation is a little anxious or intimidated by the gym, has similar feelings to the ones you had, and is second guessing working with the queer strength coach, what would you say to them?
That's an excellent question. I would encourage them to compare what's worked for them in the past, maybe what hasn't worked,
Yeah.
and then take a second shot. What's so nice is that Dan will provide guidance as to what you need to do for the day. So you shouldn't feel intimidated about, well, I'm not sure what I need to work on today because it's already planned, right? It takes a lot of the fear of you're not working out hard enough away because it shows how many things you should be doing and what is sustainable in the program. So when you wake up in the morning, you get the list of what needs to happen and you can go, okay, that's what we're doing. You can visualize myself going in, working on those things and making progress every day, which is nice. He's also really great at answering questions. So I had a lot of questions about when I should be taking protein, how much I should be taking, what kind of protein, all of that. And the internet is not going to answer it well for you. The internet is going to have conflicting opinions, conflicting advice, and they're trying to sell you something. That was really helpful to get me started to kind of think about what is the best approach to take for a lot of these, an individual approach too. So I thank Dan for all of his work with that.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. And you've put in what you've gotten out of the program. Again, great job. You should be proud of yourself.
Well, thanks. Yeah, it's been rewarding to kind
Awesome.
of be able to look at it and be like, oh, yeah, I'm actually good at this.
Hey there, welcome back and thanks for watching. If that video resonated with you and if you would like to achieve the same results that Davis got, then simply click the link below this video to access my calendar. Select a time, answer a few questions, and then we'll hop on a call to see if and how we can get you the same results that Davis got. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to talk to you soon.